Here with Canisius baseball alum Tyler Smith from 2018. First of all, Tyler, thanks for taking some time with us. You're in a unique situation, obviously, in the Angels organization, and you were out west in spring training in Arizona when the whole coronavirus went down. What was the whole situation like for you personally and your teammates?
It was a really awkward situation for us. I know the Angels were trying to play everything by ear. So they were trying to run us through basically our day-to-day spring training life without any real hiccups, just trying to run it through what we would normally do in a day. And then all of a sudden, everything kind of seemed like it shut down all at once. So I think it was like a Friday or Saturday, we got the email that we were probably going to be put on hiatus for a bit. But no one really knew the extent of it. So we actually we separated our bullpen groups in 3 groups, and my group was supposed to throw on Sunday, I believe it was. They still had us come in on Sunday. Everybody got Saturday off, except for like a select few guys that had to do their throwing work pre-bullpen. Then we threw our bullpen on Sunday, and we basically got told after our bullpen, well, we'll see you when we see you. And then the very next day they pulled us into the office, and that was when they officially let us know, yeah, everybody's going home. We're not 100% sure the extent of it, how long you're going to be home, or how you're going to get home at this point. Big shout out to the Angels organization in general, though, because they got everybody, they had flights for the next day for everybody that needed a flight for the next day. So they handled it about as well as you can whenever something's just kind of thrown at you.
Obviously, some of the other sports like basketball players, they were toward the end of the season, but you were in a unique situation as you were still just gearing up, and your season is still going to be presumptively happening at some point. Mm-hmm. So obviously being told this a couple weeks into camp, what have you been doing now to stay in shape for whenever they do bring you back?
Yeah, like I said, it's a really awkward situation that we're put into because, like you said, we hadn't started yet, and we hadn't even started our full squad camp for spring training. We had I got there about 10 days before spring training officially started, just kind of get settled in. I was living with my cousin out there, so just to get settled in and get the lay of the land of where I was, where the field was, and all that stuff. And we had got there, and we had literally just finished the pitchers catchers report portion of spring training. So I think hitters got there on Saturday, and then Sunday they told everybody that they were going home. So the hitters had just got there. I was there for about 2.5, 3 weeks. But the pitchers portion of the camp had only been going on for about a week. So I've been really trying to look at it like it's late January, early February kind of. So I'm continuing to do weighted ball throwing and stuff like that. I'm down here in a residential neighborhood, so I can't get off a mound or anything like that. And obviously I'm not home in Pennsylvania, so I don't have the access to facilities that I would normally have access to. So I actually just built myself a plyo ball wall that I can throw weighted baseballs into. And then we have kind of an old box of gym equipment, the perfect push-ups that rotate as you go down, stuff like that. So it's hard. It's really hard, but the Angels have been doing a good job also with we have an app that we follow every single day, and they've been putting in workouts for us to do home workouts that we can do with body weight stuff. So I got a few weights that I can use. It's a grind, but it's going to really show who cares in the end of it, I think.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What are the Angels doing as far as keeping in contact with you guys and keeping training or, keeping tabs on your training as far as workouts, diets, and stuff of that nature?
So I'm in contact with every coach from the pitching side of it. I don't know how the hitters do it, but every coach in the pitching side has X amount of guys that they're kind of in charge of. So Michael Wirtz is the pitching coach that I report to, and he's doing a really good job. He's texting us at least once, twice a week. Just, hey, how's it going this week? Did you have any issues? Were you still able to throw this week? Were you able to ramp up and throw a little higher intensity? Are you having any issues with workout stuff? So they've been keeping in good contact with us. Chad Tracy, who's the minor league field coordinator, has been doing a really good job of sending us emails here and there, keeping us posted with what's going on, keeping us kind of bought in and trying to basically feel like we're in spring training as much as we can.
What's one thing that, people would be surprised about as far as professional baseball and where you're at in your career right now after leaving Canisius a couple years ago?
I think the biggest thing that would surprise people, and I think that because it surprised me so much, is how laid back it is. I think it's one of those things that once you get there, 140 games is what we play in a season, and that's long. So like if you're super uptight throughout the whole thing, like you're gonna drive yourself crazy. It's just gonna happen. So I think the biggest thing is just how relaxed it is, and especially in the sense that it's a job, So you shouldn't have to be babysat through your career in professional baseball and professional anything. That basically, if you can't take the initiative, a coach, unless there's coaches that'll go out of their way to help you, but you have to build a rapport with them and do all that stuff. Like no coach is going to see you for the very first time and be like, oh my goodness, what do you need to get better? Let's see, and break you down individually. They have 250, 300 pitchers in the organization from the Dominican League all the way up through the MLB. Like, unless you show something super special, like, you're not. So it's one of those things that it's super laid back, because if you don't do your job and you don't put forth the effort to do your job, they get rid of you and find somebody else.
What were your goals and hopes for this season? Where did you see yourself playing before the whole coronavirus pandemic hit? And how does that change at all now going forward whenever the season does start?
Yeah, it definitely changes a lot. So my goals going into it were, I had a feeling that I was going to start in high A again out in San Bernardino. I think I played like 50 games out there. So not enough to really show whether I could move up or not, or how soon I could move up or not. So I was kind of expecting to start the season there. And then my goal was, by the All-Star break, I wanted to be in Double-A. And then my agent wanted me to try and get into Triple-A, basically try and get my foot in the door at the end of the season, regardless of how long. I thought that was a little aggressive, but what's the point of having a goal if it's not a little high? With everything that's gone on, to play is my goal at this point. I don't really know what's going to happen. Every idea that I see pulled up gets kind of, yeah, it's a good idea, but so I don't really know how it's going to work out. And from that standpoint, I don't really, like, my goal is still to try and end the season in Double-A. It's just kind of a matter of how we go about doing that at this point.
Sure. Obviously it's been now a couple of years since you've left Canisius. What are some of the memories that you look back on that you're most fond of and from your time here at Canisius?
I think the biggest things that like the things that come to my head first are obviously winning the conference championship. Winning the MAC championship twice is definitely the highlight of anybody's career. If you can win your conference championship once in 4 years, like, that's an accomplishment. And we were able to do it twice. Able to open up and close our run at Canisius with the MAC championship, and that's always going to be one of the first things that comes to my head. Like winning the conference championship, living with 9-year best friends, 8-year best friends. Like, it's just the whole college experience. Honestly, like, I miss it at this point.
Yeah, and what are your relationships like, now staying in touch with some of your former teammates who have gone on to, doing different things post-Canisius?
Yeah, no, we have a huge GroupMe chat with a bunch of the alumni from before I got to Canisius, to some of the guys that were there when I was at Canisius, some guys that are still not still at Canisius, but basically like a big alumni group chat, and we always just keep in chat. Like, we don't talk every day, but it's one of those things, like, everybody's there if you ever need them. And there's still a core group of guys that I keep in contact with just about every day.
Well, Tyler, appreciate you taking some time, and good luck in the season whenever that does start.
Yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate you having me.